Hey everybody, and welcome back to Automobilista 2, and as you can see we are in version 1.0, finally released out of early access and out of beta, and really excited to be able to talk about this because since 9.7 there's been quite a few updates that have been how could you say, in secrecy, because there was some content additions and they wanted to keep it as a surprise for the final release. So it's actually really great to be able to finally talk about all the different changes. So version 1.0 includes all the changes and all of the updates that have happened since 9.7. And I believe there was probably about 3 updates since 9.7 leading up to 1.0, and there's been quite a huge list of changes. I'll leave a link in the bottom if you want to check out the full changelog, but I do want to go over some of their key things that have been updated, and there's been quite a few changes, especially on content. So if we look at some of the new tracks, even for the beta testers, there's a surprise drop yesterday that came in the released, and so let's quickly jump into test day. We'll go straight to the track list, and as you can see here, Bathurst has been added to the game. This was quite a surprise because I don't think we were even expecting this to come out this soon, and that was added in yesterday. Another track that was added an update or two ago was the Brasilia track, and I actually really like this. It's set in a scenery where there's the football stadium, and I'm not sure if this was actually, I think it was the actual World Cup stadium that's you see in the background in the track. So this was actually quite a fun track. And the other track that was added was Grana Viana. This is a karting track with 4 different layouts. So that was nice to see that added into it. And one other track that was the last update that was added was Portugal. So it's Cascades. Was added, and this might look familiar because the name was changed. I guess I'm not sure if it was legal reasons or not, but that was added in. All right, let's quickly jump into cars. So as far as content on this side of things, the Formula Retro series. So we have the BT44, the Reza V12, the Reza V8, the Lotus 72E. Great car to drive. I really had a good time on a couple of tracks. Actually did this on Azure, and it was quite challenging but yet really fun and rewarding. And the McLaren M23, favorite car by far. If we go down a bit further, we have the Ginetta GT55, and if we continue with the Ginetta series, if you go to P1, you have the Ginetta G58. And you also see here the Copa Montana, which was released at 9.9.6. Trying to get all these numbers correct. And there's 2 other series here. Opala stock cars 1979 and 1986 were also added. And down here, the 2020 stock cars. And the stock cars in this game are a blast, and I really enjoy these. I think this would be a great series, or anybody who's running league races and things, this would be a great series to have. And in street cars, you also have the Camaro SS, which was added. By adding Bathurst and a few of the other classic tracks, I think it gives you, it kind of addresses a bit for both people wanting the classic tracks and people wanting a game that has a lot of different circuits that are not typically in most games. And it's one thing I really enjoy about Automobilista 2 is it doesn't have all the typical cars and tracks that are in most games. If we go in and check on some of the general additions as far as this release is concerned, they added the DRS rules for the Formula Ultimate and the Formula Reza cars. So this will be on tracks that actually have DRS zones. So this will be for the Formula Ultimate and for the Formula Reza cars. So DRS is actually added, and those, I believe the current tracks would be Azure, Kansai, Montreal, of course, and Austria. And I'm missing one. Interlagos, of course. And speed limits have been set now, so for 120 kilometers an hour on some of the historical cars that were not there earlier on. And so a couple other things in general were really around penalties. So like stop and go penalties, pit lane penalties, and going over speed limits, that threshold where it was a bit harsh or a bit strict in some situations, but they've corrected that. And as far as the UI is concerned, they've corrected some of the information, some of the stock information that was as far as, like, for example, details that were here. They've corrected that and updated some of this information that was not correct. Also, another thing that was more physics and more force feedback update. So without going into too much detail, they've really kind of rounded out the concept of Automobilista 2, force feedback and physics. So up until, say, for early access, up until 9.7, there was quite a few tweaks and quite a few modifications going on. And so they've really spent the last 2 or 3 updates getting that kind of dialed in and pretty much final. There will be obviously updates and optimizations as we go on, and feedback from the community that'll obviously play into whether they decide to make some adjustments here and there. But really what they've done is just kind of bring it to a point where they're happy and satisfied with what the force feedback and physics are in this game. So and also another thing that they've continued working on in the last few updates, especially between 9.7 and 1.0, was really working on getting the AI right. Now, if you watched any of my other videos, you've heard me talk about the AI being either not challenging, quite slow, brake checking quite often into corners, and going really slow in some corners where there was just no reason to be going that slow or slowing down that much. Apparently has all been kind of fixed up for 1.0. I know there was some tweaks in 9.9.7 and it did get better, so I'm curious to go out and try a few of those things and see how that is how that has been updated. And so there's also some audio changes as far as spatial sounds and things like that, because there was sometimes when you were driving a car by a wall, you would expect to hear it from there, but it was coming out from the wrong side, or it was just not correctly positioned. So those have been updated. And then kind of some of the final things are really about the tracks. They've done their final pass and really just kind of optimizing it, giving it that final polish before 1.0. Okay, so let's get out and try our hand out at some of these new tracks and car combos. You know what, let's do 1 lap. I don't really think we need to do 3 laps. Let's leave it at that. Leave everything at default as is. I'm not sure what, okay, so it's 90 and 50, so we'll leave that at default and see how that looks. All right, so stock cars 2020 on Bathurst. Let's see how this AI fares. Bit slow off the start. Let's get that KERS boost. So that works well. Just did a little bump draft. That was fair and square. Don't pay attention to the mirror. I have it on quite low quality. I usually actually have it off. I don't like to run the rear view mirrors. And you can see one thing there that does drive me crazy is that horizon shift. I have world movement and G-force off, completely off. Yet it's still, when you go over some things like this, or steeper hills, you can see that bounce. It does drive me crazy, but I'm sure that's something that could be corrected in a hot fix. See here, you'll see it's quite bouncy. It almost feels like your eyes are going out of focus. That might be something that actually you can tweak in the graphics file. I'll have to look into that. Because I almost remember in Project Cars 2 you were able to do that. You were able to go in and tweak some of the graphics settings. I'm almost 100% sure we were able to do that. Oh, that caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting him to come out of there. Or her, I'm not sure who's in that car. So at least that's showing me that the AI, yeah, they're right up there. So this is at default 90. Race not over yet, man. Alright, so that was a lap on Bathurst in the 2020 stock cars. Okay, so now let's go to, you know what, let's take the Formula, where are you? Formula Retro. Yeah, I take this one out quite often. Let's take the McLaren M23, number 33 livery. Let's see, yeah, there's only 3 liveries right now. We'll take the 33 livery, and let's go on to the next track that was released. So Brasilia, we'll do Brasilia full, 1 lap, let's go. Alrighty, I'm not sure if I thought I have grid position set to random. Alright, so the McLaren's M23 Formula Retros on Brasilia, and keep an eye out for that stadium. And I'm almost positive that that stadium was one of the World Cup stadiums when it was in Brazil. Alright, enjoy it. So these are a handful for sure. You get a bit of that snap oversteer. See the stadium off over there on the right. I think this definitely needs an adjustment on the steering lock. Let's check and see where the AI are. Oh, they're right behind me. That's good to see. That's what I like to see. So I think if you just adjust some of the strength and aggressiveness, it might make these a lot more challenging. Turn. That's good to see that you can't make a mistake or they'll be right on you. It is great to feel that you're just always on the edge, always on the limit with these cars. And that is Brasilia. Alright, so let's go, where are we? Brasilia. Let's go to Cascades, which is next in the list. This is Portugal. What would be good? You know, let's do a Ginetta. How about, I like this car. So let's take the P1 Ginetta. Let's see. Yeah, so there's 2 liveries right now. Makes the choice quite easy. And so you'll see like some of this white space here. And you can see the text. I don't know if you see that, but you can see the text is not really showing up there. So there's still some missing imagery and branding that needs to be put in there. Maybe the track image as we saw in the previous. So I'm sure that'll be updated with a quick fix. Let's see. Soft slicks. I think we're good. 1 lap. I need to get these AI on 100, I'm sure, or even higher, but I think, you know, I think the AI changes are finally coming to fruition. That was a friendly tap. I like the scenery in this track. Looks a little bit more lively than some of the tracks. Oh yeah, I remember this corner. This is quite tricky. Quite easy to spin out there if you don't watch it. Yeah, this force feedback really feels nice in this car. The P1s in general feel really good. Yeah, AI is great. Alright, on to the next track. Okay, so next track, you know what? Let's take that. What's the length on this? Oh, we're definitely not taking P1s on a kart track. 98, 180. Yeah, let's take it on. Let's go on the full track or the full length track. So that, oh, actually, that's not the full length track. This is the full length track. So let's go that. And let's go and take one of the carts. So do we do the super cart? No. Let's go to a shifter cart. Alright. Okay, haven't driven this track yet, so no guarantees of what's going to happen. Just got to try and survive. Ooh. I think it's probably safe for me just to follow. Yeah, this is chaotic. If I make it through this, I'll be surprised. Can't believe I survived that. I'll just get out of the way. And so where do we go? Let's go to Kyalami. How about that? That was one of the last ones that was added. And yep, we'll stick with that. Not taking the cart. And we have a couple other cars that were added. We did the stock car. You know which one we should do? Let's do the Copa Montana. Yeah, let's do the Copa Montana on South Africa. So one thing I do know is that these Copa Montanas are a definite handful to drive. So, I mean, it's got V8 in it, all kinds of power. We should have a blast. Let's do it. Yeah, I almost put it in reverse there. I see you alongside me. You know, Kyalami is such a great track. Even the historic version that they have on here is a lot of good racing to be had on this track. It'd be nice to see this come back to Formula One. They probably have to do a lot of upgrades on it. It would definitely provide for some great racing. So I am really happy to see that the AI at the default setting is still giving you a good challenge. I mean, with setup and getting used to the track car combo, and you know, you probably can beat them, you know, and I would run this probably at 110, because I would really want to have a nice fight on my hand when I'm racing. So good to see that at 90, it's a good challenge as a base level reference. Alright, so that was Kyalami in the Copa Montana. Alright, let's go back to the main menu, because we've gone through time trials. I know these records are being reset. I guess it hasn't populated yet. I know that they said they were resetting these for 1.0, which they obviously have. So I think those will probably, they'll probably update fairly soon. And as you can see right here in the middle, championship has been added. This was a last minute addition, so it is still kind of a work in progress. Multiplayer, we're going there in a second. Test day, you know, single race, we've done that. Championships. Okay, so this is what I was saying before. So championships is still, this was added last minute, and so this is a work in progress. You know, you could obviously see that it's not completed, it's not, you know, polished yet, but I would assume it either sets up a default, you know, populated calendar, and you can tweak it and adjust it as you'd like, and remove tracks, add tracks, and so on, and then you just, you know, hit next and you go into your championship. So I guess you'll be able to customize your championships that way. So let's take a quick look at multiplayer and see. Hopefully there's a lot of people on tonight. Oh yeah, this is great to see. Great to see a lot more servers in here. A lot of empty ones, but I guess that's to be expected right away. So let's change this to, so G55 Super Cup Retro Car Shifter. And so if you want to see how to set up a server, I've done that in my past video, which I believe it was 9.6 or 9.7 that I did a walkthrough on setting up your multiplayer server. It's pretty straightforward, very easy actually to do so. But this is good. This is good to see that there's a lot more servers. And I'm sure that that'll pick up as we go. And so yeah, so that's great. Anyway, so I want just to take you through a quick walk of version 1.0, because I was, you know, really happy that it dropped today, and I'm going to spend a bit more time with it over the next few days, and I'll probably do a couple more in-depth videos into some of the other content that we didn't get a chance to go through today, and maybe do some multiplayer races on those tracks, and just see how this evolves. You know, I have a good feeling about it. You know, they've done a lot of work over the past few updates, which have been really progressive as far as force feedback and the physics. And, you know, obviously we talked about it at the beginning with the list of stuff that they had updated. So, you know, fingers crossed that we do get a game that's going to evolve nicely with some really good content, or some more South American content, which would be nice to see. And hopefully it becomes a successful title. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching, and if you like it, please subscribe and support the channel, and we'll catch you guys again next time. Take care.